Hello SnowRunners, today I want to sit down and talk about Season 17 which just dropped on PTS. It's officially called Zurdania or something along those lines, but honestly, I'm calling it Georgia for this video because that's exactly what it looks like, and I'm clearly not the only one. A lot of eagle eye players pointed out instantly. Actually, you know what? If it's not Georgia, it's definitely leading into one of the former Soviet Asian countries like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, or Uzbekistan. Take your pick, basically. But that's not really the point of this video. The reason I wanted to talk about this region is simple. It feels refreshing. It hits different. After so many seasons, you can instantly tell when the region has that spark again, and this one absolutely does. There's something about the map design here that doesn't feel lazy. I've been exploring Zurdania, or I should say Georgia, for a bit now, and I can't tell you how many times I turned the corner and went, "Ooh, what's that?" It kept happening. There are loads of points of interest and surprising amount of new assets used in the world design. Look, I get it. They have to reuse props, buildings, rocks, all of that stuff. But that's normal. But the way they are combining all of those in the season is genuinely impressive. It has a very distinctive atmosphere. You'll spot old architecture, ruined bridges, and even temple-style remains scattered around the maps, especially in Zurdania Valley. And yeah, I know it's fictional, but it really does feel like you're driving through what's left of an ancient world. I think they absolutely nailed that vibe here. I found myself constantly swinging the camera around trying to take everything in, and I crashed more times than I'd like to admit. But again, that says something. It's visually interesting. And what stands out even more is the contrast between the old world versus the new world. Amongst the ruins, you'll see fuel lines stretching across the valley, threading through the mountain passes, massive factories and warehouses sitting tucked between the cliffs. It genuinely feels like a region going through a heavy industrialization, still old in places, untouched in others, but with modern development pushing in. Another thing I need to talk about is verticality in this map. Zurdania has height changes that instantly reminded me of British Columbia. British Columbia probably had taller mountains overall, but the mountains in this region are way more varied and feels more handcrafted. The first map, Zurdania Valley, is full of cliffs and sheer drops. You get tight mountain passages with waterfalls cutting through them. You have rocky outcrops forming strange silhouettes and narrow paths that genuinely feel too small, even for the new Warren truck, which is already a narrow truck. I tried taking Cat 745C into a couple of these routes, and the map punished me for even thinking about it. These tiny mountain roads feel dangerous, but in a fun way, and navigating them actually keeps me focused. Look, British Columbia had mountain roads too, but those were wider, more open, and very drivable. You could take your Kenworth 963 nearly anywhere there. Zurdania, on the other hand, is not that forgiving. Between all these ridges are beautiful valleys, some with agricultural farms, others with solar farms. And even the farms looks new because the terrain is so harsh. They're built right on the foothills and slopes, which is going to make farming missions a bit more involved and maybe even slightly annoying, but also interesting. Now, the second map, Valley of the Falling Rocks, has a very different tone. Instead of the farmlands, the valleys turn into swamps and marshes. And like the name suggests, there are landslides literally everywhere. Rocks, boulders, debris. Every roadway seems partially blocked somehow, and nearly every bridge is destroyed. But here's the cool thing. With a bit of work, you can actually restore a lot of these mountain highways. So if you put in the effort, you'll be able to run your highway trucks through the parts of this region, well, at least to some extent. Speaking of rocks, I'm really glad one of the new trucks was given a crawler suspension. That's the Jiangsu truck. Because the amount of landslide rubble is insane. The suspension is going to come in clutch, especially in the second map. Between that crawler suspension, 2 genuinely cool new trucks, new large cargo types, and a pretty interesting mission trailer. Season 17 starts to feel like a breath of fresh air. They didn't reinvent the whole game, but they mixed up the formula enough to make sure that exploring this place is genuinely fun. And the missions, they pulled in the bits and pieces from other regions players loved. You know, you've got water delivery missions, locomotive recovery and towing, and of course more divisive stuff like crafting or farming. It's a mix of familiar and new. Some parts are demanding enough to keep you alert, others are more laid back and scenic. If you like taking pictures, you're going to have a field day here. The vistas are some of the nicest I've seen in a while. If you love crawling off the beaten path, there's plenty of that too. And for players who enjoy restoring infrastructure, this might be your favorite season yet, you know. A lot of tasks spawn garbage containers or debris to clear once you repair that location, which sounds minor but does wonders to the immersion, I think. You feel like you're cleaning up and actually improving the world. And that's good because here's the kicker. The community did some number crunching and there are around 82 missions across these 2 maps. That is a lot of work, so it really helps that the region is interesting and well designed. If this season was plain or flat, 82 missions would feel like a slug. Instead, it feels like something worth grinding through. But that's pretty much it for this video, folks. From what you've seen or heard so far, what do you think about Season 17? Excited? Cautious? Maybe not even sold yet? Let me know in the comments down below. I always love reading through your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.